Hi, in this video, we'll try to understand what all is there inside the Arduino UNO R4 board. Apart from the basic specifications and the features and everything that is listed onto the web pages and whatever we have seen previously, let's get deeper into what exactly is there in the Arduino UNO R4 board, how it functions, what are the different onboard features or what are the different onboard peripherals provided to us. Let's get started. As we have stated before as well, the core microcontroller on Arduino UNO R4 is a Renesas series microcontroller. The name of that exact part or the part number is quite long, so that's why we are referring to, and even Arduino is referring it to as RA4M1. It's a 48 MHz ARM Cortex-M4 series microcontroller with a separate or dedicated floating point unit. The core operating voltage of microcontroller itself is 5 volt. Therefore, it is completely compatible with every different peripherals or sensors or input output devices which work on 5 volt operating system. It has got an on-chip real-time clock, so you don't have to connect anything externally. It has got an analog to digital converter, which is a 14-bit one. If you have used the previous version of Arduino UNO R3, then you might know that the AVR series controllers were having 10-bit analog to digital converter. This one is having 14-bit. How much it impacts, we'll see it in detail when we will be studying about the ADC. Then it has got a 256 KB of flash memory to store your program, 32 KB of RAM and 8 KB of EEPROM. It also has got capacitive touch input. It has got full USB 2.0 module. An additional feature is having an operational amplifier on board. And apart from that, on the communication interfaces, there is UART, CAN, I2C, and SPI. Now, along with the microcontroller, along with the primary Renesas series microcontroller, it has also got a dedicated ESP32 S3 mini module. It basically consists of an Extensor series dual core 32-bit microprocessor. And the whole purpose of adding ESP32 here is to give the Wi-Fi capability to Arduino. This particular module works on 3.3 volt operating voltage. Its operating frequency is 40 megahertz, and it gives you a standard Wi-Fi 4 along with Bluetooth 5.0 capability. I strongly recommend that if you are experimenting with Arduino UNO R4, then have a pinout printed on a paper and handy with you. Whenever you want to use any interfaces, whenever you want to use any particular I/O pin or any feature, having this printed out on a page helps a lot during the experimentation. This is a detailed block diagram of the same board. I won't go into the details of the architecture of this board. I would just mention that since we have stated that the microcontroller works on 5 volt, the ESP32 works on 3.3 volt, there is a level translator in between both of them. And as you can see, the LED matrix is also directly connected to the I/O pins of microcontroller. However, everything remains the same. The pinout remains the same as it was before. Whenever we are using any individual features, we will look into this block diagram or this particular diagram to understand where that feature can be used or on which pin that feature can be used. And from that point, we'll experiment. This is an interesting piece of the Arduino UNO R4 microcontroller. It has got a native USB-C connector onto it, which can be used to power on the board, as well as which can be used to download the programs onto it. Now, historically, the Arduino UNO R3 board used to have a standard B-type USB connector, and there was a USB to UART chip on those boards, which used to convert that signal, USB signal, into UART, and then it used to get connected to the hardware UART pin, that is pin number 0 and pin number 1 of the Arduino board. Now, because of that, what was happening is when you are downloading the code, you cannot connect anything to pin 0 and pin 1. But with respect to Arduino UNO R4, the things change slightly. How they change, here it goes. So this particular USB-C connector which we have, it's directly connected to the USB port of the microcontroller. Whenever you are downloading the program onto the microcontroller, this USB works as a virtual COM port or CDC ACM. When you are using serial port, when you are directly using the UART in communication in Arduino programming, the same USB port acts as a virtual COM port and it uses the serial.begin or serial library of Arduino. If you want to use the actual hardware pins, if you are connecting Bluetooth, RFID or any such additional external device, then you will connect them with the pin 0 and 1, which are the RX and TX pins. But this time you will not use serial.begin. Instead, you will use serial1.begin. When we are going deeper into the serial communication experiments, we'll talk about it in detail. The USB itself supports HID, MIDI as well as composite USB devices mode. Now, analog inputs, just like before, we have 6 analog input channels A0 to A5 which can be used. But as I stated before, this time the ADC is 14-bit resolution ADC. Therefore, you are going to get a much higher accuracy than what we used to get before. Now, along with the analog to digital converter, this time Arduino UNO has also got a dedicated digital to analog converter on board, which can give a true analog output. Previously, an analog output used to be simulated using the PWM pins, but this time we have a true digital analog output. We'll see while experimenting with the DAC how you can generate different signals onto this particular pin. And that DAC pin is A0. It's only available on pin number A0. Next, as stated before, we have different communication ports. One is the SPI or serial peripheral interface. This one is primarily used for high-speed communication with peripherals like a micro SD card or displays, OLED display. Then we have I2C communication port or I2C pins. The benefit of I2C is on the two lines of the I2C, that is STA and SCL, you can connect multiple different sensors. The drawback is at any instant of time, microcontroller communicates with only one of those devices. So if you have 4 different devices connected onto I2C pins, only one of them will be communicating at a time. Then you have got UART or the hardware universal asynchronous receiver transmitter. Then you have got CAN controller pins, that is CAN RX and CAN TX. If you have used CAN in past, you should know that CAN has got two components. One is the CAN controller itself and another one is a CAN transceiver, which actually converts the signals into the CAN bus voltage levels. Remember, this microcontroller has got a CAN controller on chip, but it has not got the transceiver. So this will still require the external transceiver IC or transceiver IC like MCP2551 if you are using any sensor or any peripherals based on CAN protocol. As stated before, it also has got built-in capacitive touch support. This is greatly useful whenever you are creating any kind of systems where you want to simply create the input or touch inputs instead of connecting physical buttons. Practically, you can use touch inputs on all of the pins which are mentioned here, from pin D2 to D13 and from pin A1 to A5. Then it has got a real-time clock. If you see the image over here, then there is an RTC in pin onto the board itself, where you can connect a small 3-volt cell. Popularly, the CR2032 can be used, or you can use any other cell as well if you have available. The important thing is we should not give more than 3 volt over here. Now, RTC is very useful. It is used to keep the time in microcontroller whenever it is operating. Previously, we used to connect external RTC chips like DS1307 with microcontroller. Now you don't need that. You have got an onboard RTC chip as well, or the RTC controller as well. Then additionally, Arduino UNO R4 Wi-Fi board has got an 8x12 LED matrix. Beauty of this matrix is the way it's connected to the microcontroller. We have total 96 individually controllable LEDs, meaning you can control any single of these 96 LEDs as well. This is achieved using very smart technique called as Charlieplexing. What is that Charlieplexing technique? We'll see that when we are studying the LEDs in detail. Understand that the I/O pins or these LEDs are directly controlled by the microcontroller GPIO pins. There is no additional LED driver IC used in between. And because of the nature of 12x8 LED matrix, you can print anything over here. You can print text, you can print symbols, you can print numbers, as well as you can also create simple animations over here. Arduino has provided a dedicated LED matrix library to use or to work with this LED matrix as well. This is the Charlieplexing. We will discuss about it in detail when we are working with the LEDs itself. Lastly, it has got a coprocessor ESP32, which is there to give the Wi-Fi connectivity to the microcontroller. The ESP32, which is present onto the Arduino UNO R4 itself, is having a factory provided, Arduino provided firmware with which the Arduino microcontroller is communicating with this ESP32 using serial port or UART pins. But if you want download any other firmware into this microcontroller using the programmer board or programmer connector that is given over there. However, that is not recommended, and it's always better to use it in conjunction with Arduino UNO R4 as it is provided in the documentation. Now, this particular microcontroller, being the advanced ARM Cortex-M4 based architecture, utilizes an ARM based boot and recovery system. What it means is the microcontroller has an internal ROM which is not accessible to the user, which consists of the bootloader. What benefit it has got is, even if you accidentally damage your microcontroller's firmware, even if you accidentally do something with the firmware, the recovery can be done through this internal ROM bootloader itself. In the previous Atmega series of microcontrollers, if you accidentally do something to the bootloader itself, then you were required to go into, or you were required to have a dedicated programmer to download the bootloader onto the microcontroller. Here, you don't need that. Because of that, because of this internal ROM based bootloader, it is very difficult to actually brick the microcontroller. It's a good news. So you won't damage the microcontroller even in the worst possible programs or worst possible code that you write. It's not going to damage the bootloader at all. And additionally, if you want to do low level programming, if you want to flash the microcontroller completely, you can always use the SWD interface that is given on the board itself. So this is about the bootloader of Arduino UNO R4 board. That's enough of the theory. Let's get started. All we have to do now is install the Arduino software, install the Arduino UNO R4 board, and we can get started with this simple LED blinking program. Thank you for watching.